Right. Recording has started.
Okay. Hello, I want to welcome everyone to this DMHA portal training video. DMHA has been working for a while now on standing up a new DMHA provider portal that will house license and certification activities. And we hope that it's a one-stop shop for providers in recertification, applying for new certificates, as well as obtaining information regarding their certification or licensure status. So today we are going to kick off with this training video. Jonah from eImagine is going to go through some steps in the new portal on how to log in and the different features of the portal. So I will turn this over to Jonah to go through those steps.
Great. Thanks, Jenna. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so this is the first look at the portal. This is what our home screen looks like. I'm essentially just going to take everyone kind of step by step through user registration, some of the functionality that you can do within the portal, and just kind of go over some of the basic concepts that we built out. So I'm going to start with user registration. Again, this is the home screen. To get to the login screen, we're just going to click up here in the right-hand corner for login. And this is going to take us to this screen here. There are two scenarios here. The first is if you are visiting the portal for the first time, you're obviously going to have to go through some registration steps. So we're going to go through that. But if you're returning, then it'll be a little bit simpler. I am going to go through the scenario where we register as a brand new user for the first time so we can see exactly step by step the full scope of what that looks like. So we get to the login screen here, and the way we log in to the portal is through Access Indiana. If you don't have an account for Access Indiana, that's okay. It will prompt you to make one through. Once I click into here, it'll let you make one if you need to. If you already have an Access Indiana account, it'll go ahead and kind of take you straight through Access Indiana and right into the portal, into the registration. So I'm going to go ahead and click Access Indiana, this button. And it's going to take me to the Access Indiana page. Again, like I said, we're going to go through from the very beginning as if I didn't have an Access Indiana account. So I'm going to go ahead and click right here, the Don't Have an Access Indiana Account button. And I'm going to get started with entering the email that I want to use. This email is also going to be the email that gets added to your contact and your user for the portal. So make sure you're using the right one. All right, I'm going to click send verification code, and I'm going to get a code in my email to verify. So I'm going to go retrieve that. All right, and I'm going to click continue. Now I'm going to set a password. And I'm going to click continue. Great. Now I'm just going to enter some basic information. Again, all of the information that I'm using to sign up through Access Indiana is going to then be information that gets used in the portal as well. And I'm going to create an account. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm not going to enable two-step verification, and I'm also not going to add a recovery email. So I'm going to click continue. That was the last step of signing up for Access Indiana. So now that I've done that, it's actually going to redirect me right back into the portal. So this is kind of the first step of the registration for the portal. It's just going to get some basic information from me. So the first is just going to be a business phone. And I'm going to select a role. We have, we'll pick a choice from these three, and we'll click next. So from here, you have an option. It's going to ask you if you're a new or existing provider. So if you're a new provider, this would be the kind of person where you haven't applied for licensure or certification before, and you are just kind of brand new. You don't have any information in any pre-existing systems or anything like that. Or if you choose existing, that means that you are an existing provider. You're likely reapplying for certification or licensure, and you've used the system previously. A lot of people at the beginning are probably going to fall under this existing category, so that's the one I'm going to demonstrate today. So I'm going to click existing, and I'm going to click next. When I do that, I'm then going to essentially kind of get this big long list. This is all test data, but I'm going to get this big long list of the provider accounts that are in the portal system already. You're going to choose which one you are associated with. So for this one, I'm going to pick the White Lotus account, and I'm going to click next. Then I'm going to confirm the EIN, which is the employer's identification number. Great. And then I'm going to click next. Once I've done that, then my account is going to go into review. This is going to then go over to DMHA. They're going to look at your account essentially that you just created, and they're going to verify that you do in fact belong to the provider that you selected. So in this case, John Doe is the name of this user, and he wanted to be associated with the White Lotus account. So DMHA is then going to go ahead and verify that is accurate or not. Once it's been approved, which I'm going to do on my end really quickly. Once it's been approved, you'll be able to then go back into the portal, and you'll kind of be taken to the home screen and you can really get started. So like I said, there's going to be an approval. And once DMHA does approve it, then there is going to be an email. Let's see if I actually have my email logged in or not. An email should go out to let you know that your account has been approved and that you're able to log into the portal using that again. So here we go. We have that right here. We have John Doe, and it tells me that my provider has been successfully linked to my portal account. So we can go back into the portal account. I'm just going to give a refresh, but you could go back to the home page. And now that it's been approved, I'm going to get taken right back to the home page, but in the authenticated version. So that is the first step in registration. That's kind of how you do it. Like I said, if you're a new provider, you're going to go through a similar process, but instead of picking an existing provider, you're just going to create a new one. It's going to ask you some basic information about that new provider as well. And instead of having to go through an approval, since you're a new provider, you'll be able to just enter that information and then get taken straight to the home screen here. All right, so the next thing I'm going to show is I'm going to go through some of this functionality in the portal. And I'm actually going to go through a pre-application first. So this is the pre-application. There are two types of applications you can submit for pre-applications. We have gambling and PMHI. This is also kind of just like an intent to apply. For this demonstration, I'm going to pick a PMHI. I'm going to click next. I'm going to type in some information. All right, I'm going to click next. All of the fields, which you actually just saw on the previous screen that have a red asterisk, those are required fields. If they don't have a asterisk, then it's not required. For the sake of the demonstration, I'm just going to kind of breeze through some of these. So if I don't fill them all out, that's just for the demo. All right, I'm going to click next to go to the next screen. And here again, we get a handful of questions here that we can fill out and add some additional information to. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm not really going to fill these out. I'm going to click next, but know that they are here for you to fill out. And then I'm going to get to this portion of the pre-application where it's going to ask for document uploads if you have them. This is an optional file upload here. And this is for waiver requests. So if you had a waiver request, you can click upload files, and you can select a document that that's going to be used with. I'm going to do that really quick. Just uploaded one. And then you can click next. If you don't have one, you don't have to upload a file. You can just click next and it'll take you right to the next page. And then you can see that your pre-application has been submitted, and it tells you to contact IDOH for the next steps, and there's a link provided as well. So we'll just click finish. And then it kind of takes me back to the beginning of the pre-application, which you don't need to fill out again. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the home screen. So that was the pre-application. Now I'm going to show you what an actual application looks like. We're going to go through an ASR application. It's a little bit lengthier than the pre-application. There's a lot more to it. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to click under applications, and then I'm going to click apply, as you saw me do. It's going to take me to the first screen. It's captured a lot of the initial information from our registration piece. So it knows that my organization's name is White Lotus, and it has my EIN, all of this good stuff. I'm going to click next. Some of this information has already been filled in. If you're an existing provider, that's likely going to be the case for you as well. This is capturing data from an existing provider, so it's already in the system. I'm going to click next as well. And one more time. All right, so now we get to this screen, and this is going to look a little bit different for every applicant or every user. Application types become available dependent on other criteria within the system. So not everyone's going to have the same application types available to apply for. For this demonstration, like I said, I'm going to do an ASR and addiction service regular application. This is the screen where you'll choose it, and I'll click next. It's going to take a second to think about it. All right, and now we get to this screen. This is kind of this is where the application really sort of begins. This is the overview of all the sections, part of this application. We have a column here for section complete. So once we complete one, we'll know that it's been completed. And we'll go over this review result column in a little bit. So we can see down here that my provider application documents section is already completed. This gets completed kind of automatically if certain documents have already been uploaded as part of other applications or as part of the system. If it already has certain information, it will go ahead and complete this section for you so you don't have to do it yourself again. I'm going to start at the top and go through policies and procedures section, and then we'll work our way down. All right, first section, policies and procedures. All right, so we have, a handful of text boxes here. This is what we call rich text. So you can kind of copy and paste what would be formatted text into these boxes. And we have at the top here a reference document that kind of gives you information as to how to fill these text boxes. Because these at the moment are not required, I'm going to skip through this. Well, I'll just add something real small actually, so we can see it later. And I'm going to click next. I have a second page of policies and procedures, and I have more reference documents here at the top. If I clicked on them, it would take me to, let's see. There we go. If I clicked on them, they would take me to a PDF so we can see the information that I need in order to fill out this text box. Again, just filling in simple test data. And I'm going to go ahead and click next again. All right, so now I've completed the policy and procedures section. We can see that by this little checkbox here. And we're going to move on to the accreditation section. So I'm going to click next. It's going to pull in accreditations that are currently attached to the provider. If there aren't any, this will be a blank table. It's going to ask me right here. Well, first, I can select if I want to attach any of these already existing accreditations to my application, or with this question here, I can add a new one. I'm going to go ahead and add a new one, so I'm not going to select any of these, and I'm just going to click yes here. Then on the next screen, I can select which kind of accreditation I would like to do. And then I'll click next. And then that's it for the accreditation section. Pretty straightforward. Next is going to be the facility information. It's a little bit lengthier. So this is a screen where it's going to list out any facilities that I already have attached to my provider. Again, you can see these are test facilities. I'm going to go ahead and create a new one for the sake of this demonstration. But if you wanted to select one that you've already created, you could select one here and then click next. If you don't select one, oh, I'm going to go back really quick. If I don't select one, on the next screen, it's going to prompt me to create a new one. So from here, we'll just answer some of these preliminary questions. You can search for a county by typing. We're going to select a date for our last fire inspection. And we're going to select which special programming populations that this facility is geared towards. I'm going to select multiple. I can do that by holding down Shift, or I can hold down Control to select certain ones. I'm going to click Next. And now it's going to give me an overview of services related to this facility. Because this is a new facility, there are none. So that's why this table is empty. So it's going to go ahead and prompt me to create a new one. Here, it's already assigning it to the John Doe's site, the one that we just created, and we're going to add a facility to it. So I'm going to select the category. I'm going to select the service description, age, population, and some of these fields change dependent on which service category you're choosing from. And I'm going to pick an effective date as of today. For the sake of this demonstration, it's asking if I want to add another service. I'm just going to click no. But if you wanted to add another service to this facility within this application, this would be the place to do it. If I clicked yes, it's basically going to take me back to this screen. All right, it's going to give me an overview of the service that I just created for this facility. And then we're going to get some address information. Alrighty, it copies it over, but in case you want to change it on the next screen, that's where this is, where you're able to do that. I'm just going to click next. And then we're done with the facility section. Next, I'm going to do the direct service providers section. Again, these are existing direct service providers that I have. If I click next, it's going to prompt me to, it's going to ask me if I want to create a new one or not. Not all applications have this section and not all applications require this section. I'm going to click yes, just so we can take a look at what that looks like. I'm going to ask me service type, service provider status, and the license approved. If I click other down here on the next screen, it'll prompt me to type in specifically which one I want to choose. I'm just going to select a pre-existing one and I'll click next. I'm going to ask for a date of expiration and a license number. And I'll click next. It's going to ask me if I would like to create another one. I'm going to click no. We just saw what that process looks like. And I'm going to click next. Now we've completed that section. We're going to move on to contact roles. This is going to give me a description of the contact role that it's looking for this screen. If there is a contact role that's already existing on your account, it will typically pull this in. So it's looking for a certification contact. I'm going to go ahead and enter. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and enter this. You can enter the same person if it applies for each one. And if not, then you can enter different people as well. So for the next one, it's going to ask for a quality contact. Again, I'm just going to use that same one. But if you have different people for these roles, then you can enter that. All right, next one is consumer service line contact. CEO and executive director. And then here is an example of an existing contact role for this specific type. It's looking for the provider portal designee role. And we already have 3 in the system for this contact role, so we can select one of them if we want. If not, it'll have us fill out a new one like we have been doing. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one. And I'll click next. And now I finished the contact roles. It's going to ask if I want to add more roles to this application. This would be used if it didn't cover a role that you have within your provider account. You can go ahead and add that here. I'm going to click no just for the sake of time. And click next. All right. And lastly, we have the facility application documents section. This is going to be a document upload section. And it will give us an overview here on the first screen of which documents we need to upload. And then it'll also have a checkbox here as if they're required or not. So we can see the first one here at the moment is just the only one that's required. So we're going to blow through a lot of these, but just know that if you have the documentation for them, here's your opportunity to upload them. Okay, so for the first one, we're going to upload the most recent fire and safety inspection report. And it gives us some details down here as well as to what is specifically being looked for in this document upload. So I'm going to go ahead and upload one. All right, and then I'm going to click next. It's going to tell me that I have uploaded this file, and then I can click next again. So this is a miscellaneous document upload. This is going to be for a document that doesn't necessarily fit the category or description of the other uploads. Anything extra that you want to upload here, this is the chance for that. So I'm going to go ahead and pick one. This is an optional one, so you don't necessarily have to upload one if you don't have anything to upload. All right, again, gives me the confirmation of the file that I uploaded, and I'm going to click next. This is the plan of correction, accreditation follow-up. This is an optional file upload, so I'm just going to click next to go through this for the sake of time. It just tells me that I haven't uploaded any documents for it, and that's fine. I'm going to click next on this one as well without uploading, and we're just going to kind of breeze through the rest of these. Okay. So when I get to the end of the facility application document section, it's going to give me an overview again. It's going to say, these are the document types that were requested for upload. It's going to say which ones were required. And it's going to tell me in this column which ones I actually did upload to. So the first and the second one I did submit an upload for, but for the rest I didn't. All right, I'm going to click next. That was the last incomplete section of the application. The application registered that was the last one, and now that you've completed it, so it's going to prompt you to go ahead and complete your application and submit it. So I'm going to click yes, and I'm going to click next. I'm going to agree to the text above, and I'm going to submit a electronic signature. And click next. All right, tells me thank you, and just to click submit to finalize the application. All right, now we can see that the application has been submitted. So that was an overview. We're going to click home. That was an overview of the application process. Like I said, a lot of the applications look different. Certain ones have requirements that others don't. But that was just kind of just an example one to go through. All right, so the next thing I'm going to show is that if you didn't complete an application, because they are quite lengthy, you have the ability to go back and continue them if you needed to. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of start an application and then show how to go back into it and complete it at a later time if I needed to. So I'm going to blow through the first couple of screens. I'm going to pick a PMHI application. And I'll go ahead and complete the first section. Let's just say that I did. All right, so I completed the first section, nice and easy. And let's say for whatever reason I couldn't complete the application at this moment, that's totally fine. I can click home. And now that application is gone. If I wanted to get back to it, the way to do that would be click more here. And then I can click, oops, sorry. The way to find it would be to click applications, and then I'll click view existing applications. It's going to take me to a screen where I have a couple of tables. Oops. This looks a little bit different than it's supposed to. But I can click on the application that I started, which I'm not sure if this is the one, but there's going to be a button here, which is continue existing application, which will take you back into the application and allow you to continue working. All right, So now I'm going to go back over what happens with the application that we actually submitted. So once I submitted that application, it gets sent to DMHA for them to review. So we have the ability that, say, for example, your application is missing some information, or there needed to be some additional information provided. You can, the DMHA is going to have the ability to send that back to you so that you can add that missing information. So I'm going to show what that looks like in just 1 second. I'm on the inside, and I'm going to go ahead and send that back in just a second. I'm going through all the checklists for the application so that I can identify which pieces would theoretically be missing. All right. All right, so now my application has been returned to me. So like I was saying, in this scenario, this is where, say your application was missing something and you needed to revise it in order for it to be approved. The person on DMHA's team is going to review that, and then they'll be able to identify exactly what's missing. They will return it to you. You'll get an email notifying you that it's been returned. So we go to my inbox, we can see it here. My application has been returned. And it gives us the link to go ahead and review that again, and it gives us some instruction on how to do so. So I'm going to go back into the portal. And I'm going to look for that application that I submitted and has been returned. Typically, there won't be this many applications here, but this is the one. Here we go. Let's see. This is maybe one a space where I would cut around if possible to edit, just calling that out, because this got changed in our last push, and I'm not seeing the application that I need to in order to show that looks like. I can try opening this up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that application. Again, this is not a typical screen. There won't be this many applications in your account, but I can identify which one needs to be reviewed by this return to provider status here. So I'm going to open this one up, and then I can continue existing application. When I do that, the first screen that I'm going to get is kind of that completion screen. I don't want to complete it because I do have things that need to be reviewed. So this is the instance where I would click no there, and I'll click next. From here, we can see which sections of my application passed and which ones failed. And we can also see down here the comments that our reviewer has left for us with a timestamp as well. So we can see that we have an application documents section, or something in the application documents section that needs to be reviewed, and the direct service provider section that needs to be reviewed as well. So if I click in the direct service provider, I can make the changes necessary. Say I just need to select this one. I'll click no. And here we go. Jenna, just so you know, this is because I'm choosing an old application that may not have the correct data with the system as it is in the moment. Can see if I can find a more recent one. Okay, give me 1 second and I'm going to try to locate this application on the inside. Okay, I located that application, so I'm going to go ahead and do the review for that one. That way we can go through the rest of the application review and see what that looks like. Alrighty, so I just sent back this application. I'm going to go ahead and click into it. And I'm going to go ahead and click continue existing application, which is what we just did. Again, I'm going to click no here. I'm not ready to complete my application. I have some review changes to make, so I'm going to click no. And we can see here, like I was showing, we have passed, looks like 4 of the 5 sections, and we can see that this section, the direct service provider section, did not pass. And we can see right here exactly what they were looking for, along with the comments left by my reviewer. So I'm going to go ahead and click into that section, and I'm going to make some of the necessary changes. I'm going to go ahead and create another DSP. And I'll click next. I'm not going to create another one, so I just created one. And now my section has been reviewed and I'm ready to submit it again. So I'll go ahead and click yes. And I'll do the attestation again. I'll click next and I'll click submit. All right, so then that application gets resubmitted. So I'm going to go ahead on the inside and I'm going to take a look at that application and I'm going to go ahead and approve it. Alrighty, so I went back to the home screen and my application has been approved this time. So when I have an application that's been approved, I'm also going to get another email that says that my application's been approved, and there is going to be a credential that gets generated for that application. Your credential is also going to live in the portal. That is a new thing as well. There's going to be a couple of files there that you'll be able to access at any time. They will live there, and I'll show you how to locate those. So to locate the credential that's been made from my approved application, I'm going to click more. I'm going to click view information, and then I'm going to click view credentials. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to look for this one. This is the, again, there probably will not be this many credentials within your account. But for this one, this is the application that I just had approved, and this is the credential that was just generated from that approval. I can go ahead and click into it, and I can see some of the overview information for this credential. Over here, you'll notice this section, which is notes and attachments. Currently, there's nothing in there. It's processing this credential once it's done. So your credential letter and your certificate will live right here in a PDF form, and I'll be able to show you what that looks like in just a second. It's still generating. But this is where you can kind of see some of the foundational information for your credential. While we're waiting for that credential, for the credential files to generate, I'm going to go through some of the other functionality in the portal that you can look at. So first, I'm going to look at our provider information. So if I wanted to look at information regarding my provider, I can click view information here, and then I can click view provider information. My provider is White Lotus, so I can go ahead and click on that. And I can see, kind of an overview of a lot of things here. We can see the credentials associated with my provider. We can see the accreditations. We can see the direct service providers. We can see some of the general information at the top, EIN, all of that good stuff. The next thing we can look at is the facilities belonging to my provider. If I wanted to kind of look at what that information is, I can click on view information, and then I can click view facility information. This isn't going to give me a list of all of the facilities associated with this provider. So for example, the one we just made was John Doe's site. If I click on it, I can go ahead and see some of the basic information for that as well. It looks very similar to the provider information. But also we have over here the credentials. This is the one that I was just looking at. So if we wanted to see that credential from this facility page, we could do so just by clicking on it. And while we're here, actually our files have finished generating. So we have two files right here, which we can view by downloading. So the first one is right here. We can see this is the certificate that's been generated. Again, that will live here on in this portal for us, so you can access it at any time. And then the second document here is the letter. We're going to download that one as well. And here it is as well. Again, those will live in the portal, so you can access them. All right. So the next thing I'm going to go to the home screen just to give us a good place to start. There are some other things that we can do within the portal aside from just making applications and getting credentials. We say we needed to make some updates. We have a place to do that as well. These are updates that are not necessarily pertaining to an application itself, so this is the right place to do them. We can view that by clicking more and then update information. Here we see we have view update requests and then make updates. So when I submit an update, some of them go through an approval process. We can see the request in its state until approval here, and we can make the actual updates here. So when I click on make updates, we have a list of updates that we can make. We can close an entity, we can close a facility, we can change some of the provider information like the DBA, the legal name, things of that nature, key contacts, and so on. For this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through the key contacts just to show kind of what that looks like. So this would be if I wanted to make a change to some of my contact roles, this would be the place that I could do that without having to go through an application to do it. So I'll click next. It's going to pull in a list of all of my contact roles on my account. You can see we have 3 provider portal designees, certification contact, quality contact, CEO. I'm going to go ahead and remove an existing contact role that I have for this account, and I'm going to click next. I'm going to click on the contact role that I would like to remove. So I'm going to remove Barbie and Ken, and I'll click next. And now I can see that my key contacts have been successfully updated. So if I click finish here, when I go back into the key contacts and it gives me that overview, we can see that that key contact has been removed. Say I wanted to add a new key contact, I could do that here as well. I'll click that. And I'll go ahead and add back the one that I just got rid of, and I'll add provider portal designee. I'll select a new contact. And I'll fill out some basic information about that. Actually, I'm going to use a different email address. I'm going to use my email address because for provider portal designees, specifically once they're created, they actually get their own user account and are able to log into the system associated with this provider. So I'm going to click finish. And because I used my own personal email address as a new user, I should get another email here saying to Joseph that I've been added to the portal as a provider portal designee, and that I can log into the portal. I can do so by using the Access Indiana, and then it will automatically link my account to this White Lotus account. Another thing that I can demonstrate really quickly is how to add a service to a facility. So I can go ahead and click on that, and I'll click next. And I can pick a facility that I want to add a service to. We'll go ahead and pick that one we created, and I'll click next. And again, here at the top, now that I have a service, it's kind of giving me an overview of the services I already have on this facility. And then down here, I can go ahead and add another one. I'll just go through this. And I'm not going to add another one. One is good for now. I'll click next. It's going to give me an overview of the services that I have on the facility again, and then I'll click next. And then my service has been successfully added to this provider account. or for that facility. All right, I'm going to go back home, and the last thing I'm going to show is how to submit support tickets. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. The support tickets live under this More tab here, and then DMHA support. So we have a few scenarios here that you can pick from. One is just if I'm having trouble logging in. So you don't necessarily have to be authenticated and logged into the system to get to this portion. I'll show that in just a second. But another place you can click is here to ask questions or create this other support tickets. You can also open view your open and closed support tickets here as well once you've submitted them. So I'll go ahead and submit one here. And you can select an impact and provide additional information, and you can click next. You can also upload any documents to this if you want. And I can click next. And now I can see that my ticket has been created and has been submitted to DMHA. If I want to look at that ticket that I've created, I can click here under Open Support Tickets. And I can see that I actually submitted this same one earlier. So I have my question is right here. So I can track the status of that until it's been resolved. So revisiting the support ticket for if you're having trouble logging in, I'm going to go ahead and log out of the system. And it's going to take me to the home screen of the portal, but as an unauthenticated, here, I'll go back to this, as an unauthenticated user. And for any reason, if I'm having trouble logging in, I still have this tab here at the top, DMHA support, and you can click that I'm having trouble logging in. And this is just another way for you to be able to submit a support ticket without having to actually be logged in. So this would typically be used for trouble logging in. All right, and I'll click home. So that is the end of my demonstration here. Again, there are several things that weren't able to be shown within this little demonstration. There are a lot of capabilities within the portal, but that was just a quick little overview as to how to do some of the basics, like submitting a pre-application, submitting an application, being able to view your credentials that are created once your applications have been approved, and how to make some of the changes necessary to keep your information up to date. Jenna, I guess I will turn it back over to you unless you wanted me to add anything else.
No, I think that is great. I think we could probably end the recording